excited about what's on my sewing table. The month of November, this is birthday month, and I've decided to make for myself Simplicity 3047, a 1970s vintage Jiffy. It says Jiffy. I'm going to make the capelet and the pants. They call it a jacket, so Mrs. Jacket and pants. So I'm going to make the jacket. It's unlined, and I'm making the pants. The pants will be out of a Ponte knit. I haven't purchased that yet, but my jacket is out of this purple. It's a boiled wool, and I love it. It has some stretch in it, and if you see, you can kind of see through it. Maybe not on that pattern piece. Let me see if I have a small piece I could show you, because as you can see, I've already started cutting it, so it looks like this. So if you see it really good, it's a little bit see-through. It's not, you know, like sheer, but it feels like a sweater. But I really like it, so I'm excited about this make. So I've already started cutting it. I've cut the front and back, which is one long piece. You have a front and back. You have an upper collar and a front facing that's in one. You have an under collar, pocket facing, and the belt. So there are 6 pieces for the jacket, 2 pieces for the pants. The pants are elasticized, zipper in the back, but it's just the fold over casing. It's not a separate casing that you have to sew on. So I'm going to get everything cut out, and then I'm going to start sewing. I will be following the guide sheet, and actually it's page 1 and page 2. There's 3 pages to it, but the 3rd page just has the layouts and then the different language, instructions in language. So otherwise, the pants and the jacket are just on this one page, just on the inside of page 2. So let's get started. So the instructions, I've cut everything out. I did what I normally do. I serge the edges of all my pieces, and the instructions also had us to stay stitch around the underarm and around the neckline, and that's so it wouldn't stretch. And that's very important on this boiled wool, because it's a stretch boiled wool, and I can see that too much fumbling around with it, it can get distorted. So I'm being very, very careful. So I got all my edges serged on my pieces, and the first thing to do is to make the pocket. The pocket is made, but it is sewn on by hand, and I will be following those instructions. So there were 2 pieces to the pocket and the pocket facing, which I've already put the pocket facing on. So here's the pocket. Let me see. I'm sorry. Here's the pocket. And then I put the pocket facing on, because once you put the pocket on the garment, it actually goes down like this. So I'm getting ready to pin this pocket in place, slip stitch it like I was instructed. And then the next step is to sew the back seam and the sides, and then you the back seam, the side seams, and where the arm hole is, this armhole, you top fold it in the seam allowance and you top stitch it down. So I'm going to go now, put the pocket on. I'm going to sew the side seams and the back. and I'll come back and let you see what that looks like. Okay, this is what we're looking at so far. Here's that pocket. It has the flap, and I top stitched the pocket by itself as instructed, and then I did hand sew it down. I slip stitched it all the way around. I didn't tack this part of the flap, but the sides I did. I don't see any reason why I would need that to come up, but this is how it looks like. Now the seam, here's the seam on the side from here to the bottom, here to here, and this is just ironed up under. I've got to look and see if they top stitch it or hand stitch it. Just a simple back seam, but as you can see, it's really nothing to it. It just has to get the collar. It has the roll collar. Do they call it a shawl collar? Might be called a shawl collar. So it gets this collar point on it, and then it just has a belt. So it's looking pretty good right now. You know, I had previously serged everything ahead of time. So here's my side seam, my back seam, and then of course the other side seam. You can't really see this that well, but this is hand stitched, this pocket, all the way around. Frankly, I like it because it allowed me to get a nice curve, and because I have a concern about the stretch in this fabric, this is all really working out. It's so nice, and ooh, it's going to be really nice for this early part of the fall, especially with the top and the pants. So as you can see, it is time for the collar and the facing. Now you might be wondering, why am I just pinning this? I did cut the collar, that's already cut, This is the under collar. It does not get the interfacing, so I am going to go ahead and sew the under collar on the jacket, but then I have to interface the upper collar and facing. That's this piece right here. The reason I didn't cut it out ahead of time was because I'm a little concerned about the stretch in this fabric, so I'm cutting the piece that I need to sew. This way it's less time for it to do anything, meaning as soon as I cut it, I will interface it. I think I'm gonna do hand sewn interfacing. I'll let you know, but I'll interface it and get it immediately on the jacket. Then that didn't really have any time for any stretching. Even though I'm doing stay stitching, it's still, for me, this is still the safe way. So we have done the pocket. We have done the back and front, and we are now here on, they call it unit 2. So all of that was unit 1. This is unit 2 where the collar is concerned. So we are about to put the under collar on the jacket, and then we will cut the facing, interface it, and sew it on to the jacket. That's the next step of where we are. You can see I'm working right here the whole time. So let me get this collar on the jacket and then get this collar, this upper collar interfaced and on. It's the upper collar and the front facing. My upper collar is pinned, as you can see. And don't you just love it when everything fits? You know, I had all my markings, my notches, my center, you know, was marked. I'm sure you're marking all of your pieces, the notches, where the shoulder goes, so that everything lines up, you know, and your pieces fit neatly on together. I am going to go to the fabric store another day to see if they have any more of this type of fabric. I actually really like it, and I have a sweater pattern that I would like to use on this. It's a boiled wool. It's very soft. It's not itchy. I showed it to you. You can see through it, but you can't see through it. You know, the grains of it and stuff. It's really nice. I love the way it's sewn. Even though I have that concern, I can see that it can get distorted. But I love the way it's sewing. I love the way it's pressing. I'm pressing it with a cloth, so I'm not putting the iron directly on here. And when I used the chalk in one of my pins for the marking, they didn't show up that good. So I take these little teeny fine pins, you know, and that's how I've been doing my marking. So, and you know, pins can also kind of stretch your garment, so you want to be careful. I would normally be clipping, but since I'm going to go straight to the sewing machine and sew this, I have the pins on here and I'm okay. You can see I've cut this facing out. Now I just got to dig through my interfacing to see if I have any sew-in interfacing, because I'd rather use that than the iron-on. So let me go put this under collar on now. So since I have to go to the store to get the interfacing, I have plenty of interfacing, but I don't have any black sew-on interfacing. I don't know if I've ever seen it in black. I have white. I'm looking for black, so I will go in the next day or two and get that. So I'm going to start preparing for the top. This is a knit fabric, and you see the pattern here. I am going to be making this top, Simplicity 3003. I've made it before in this version. I did do the collar, like the turtleneck, and the flounce. So this time I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to do the neckband. I am going to still do the flounce because I really do like that. But I think I'm going to do the neckband. But anyway, it's going to be out of this fabric. And you could see that it pairs really well with this jacket. So this will be one of my birthday outfits. So this is the top. Here's my jacket. And it will be the black Ponte knit pants. So I'm excited to get it started. And while I was finishing up a few things, I did go ahead and make the belt that goes to the jacket. I know they call it a jacket. I'm calling it a capelet. That's what I like. So I'll be back once I get the interfacing, get it sewn on, get that collar sewn on. So I'll be back to finish up. Okay, see you in the next video. So when we last left off, it's been, for me, it's been 5 days. So now I'm back to finish my jacket, my capelet. When we last left off, I had, of course, made the belt, but I had pretty much had the jacket put together. It was time to put the facing on, which the facing and the collar, because they're all in one. So this is the shawl collar. So it's that rounded collar, all in one. And here is the facing. I had stopped because on this pattern, they call for sew-in interfacing. And that's exactly what I've done. I wanted black interfacing. I didn't have any, so I did this. This is hand stitching. So I hand stitched it down the middle, just big, long stitches, hand stitches, of course, on both sides. And then I serged the edge. So the interfacing is supported by the serging on the edge. It's supported by the hand sewing here. And then the final support will actually be the seam when I sew it onto the capelet. Now you can't see the stitches here going down it. So although I used purple thread against this white, I did that so that it wouldn't be shown under here. Now you could just tack it in certain places, however you choose. But because this boiled wool has a little bit of stretch to it, I wanted to do the long stitches so that I didn't have the issue of it stretching like right here. I'm not going to go back and do that, but I didn't want the possibility of this stretching, from underneath. So here we are here. I am going to get this clipped on. I use pins most of my sewing. In this particular case, though, I'm using the clips. I need a lot of them. Let me see. So I am clipping all the way around because I don't want the act of pinning to stretch my fabric, because sometimes I'm matching up all my notches. Sometimes the pinning in and out of these garments can stretch your fabric. So I matched the notch, the center seam, to the clip that was here, the marking that was here. So I will clip in between. And then, of course, I'll do the other sides, matching that clipping. Yeah, and so I will do the other side across the top the same way, and then I'll go down the sides. I'm going to sew this on. This is almost the last step. We do have to hem the jacket. It's top stitched. I will see how it sews before I decide about the top stitching, because when you top stitching, I don't want it to move and stretch, because it has more stretch in it than I had realized. So I'm going to finish pinning this. I am then going to sew it. Here we go. We're going to get it lined up down here where it's supposed to be, and then finish pinning these edges here. So we'll get it lined up down here because we're matching up notches and, you know, everything that we need to match up. So I'm going to continue this on both sides. I'm going to sew it and get this hem pinned up. I don't know if I'm going to top stitch it or not, but when I bring it back to you, the garment will be finished. So I'll be back shortly. Hey, I am back, and as you can see, the jacket is finished. I did top stitch around everywhere. I hand stitched the hem, but the sleeve, like that cap over sleeve, and the top, down the front, around the collar, of course the pocket, all of that is top stitched. You can see it's really nice and clean. I hand stitched all of this. Let me get closer. All of this facing, I hand stitched all the way down. Even though I top stitched it, I hand stitched all the way down and around. I hope you can see it. Yeah, all of that is stitched down. Hemmed it with my hand. And then, of course, this is the back. The belt's on there. It's just pinned right now. Belt's on there. But the jacket is finished. And I really do like it. So, let me show you really quick what it looks like. Keep in mind, I am doing a video with the jacket, the pants, and the shirt. So this is what she's looking like. And this belt, oops, sorry. Okay. Nice. It's got that one pocket. I do like it. Imagine a sweater, the sleeves of your sweater hanging over it, or of course my shirt. So I really do like it. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, wait. Watch the following video, and then of course you'll see how I pair this with everything else. Bye.